We all remember that leader who made us better, not because they're the loudest, not because they demanded the most, but because one thing, they saw us. Leadership isn't just about titles. It's not built on results alone. It's built on relationships. Because when people feel valued, they rise. And when they feel known, they can grow. And when they feel believed in, they become more than they ever thought possible. That's the power of relationships and leadership. Now, to introduce myself, guys, my name is Christian Medill, and I'm going to give you guys a story about when I didn't realize how important relationships were in leadership. So I'm going to take you back to my first year of teaching. When I walked into the classroom, my first year teaching agricultural mechanics, I thought I already knew what leadership looked like. I was coming directly from industry. I had jobs as a foreman and a general foreman. And in my mind, the shop was going to run like a job site. I had clear expectation, hard lines. There was no gray area in that situation. If something wasn't done right, it was wrong. Plain and simple. That was the end of the story. I thought that kind of structure would earn respect and keep my kids safe. What I didn't understand, though, students aren't employees, and a classroom is not a production floor. At first, I felt justified. The shop had not been organized, or was organized. Safety mattered. Rules mattered. I enforced everything, every expectation, like it was written in stone. I corrected everything immediately. I didn't bend. I didn't let things slide, and I didn't spend much time to connect. Looking back, I can admit, a lot of my strictness wasn't just about standards. It was about my own fear. I was new, and I felt like unprepared, and I was trying to prove that I belonged instead of being there. But the results were hard to ignore. My students dreaded coming to my class. I could feel it when they walked in. There were short answers, no eye contact. Transition into the classroom just felt off. Some of them told other teachers I was mean. And word got around to me, and honestly, in their perspective, I probably was. I was focused on doing things the right way, that I didn't notice I was losing them. It didn't stop at the students, though, either. My relationship with my coworkers started to strain. Many of them had been teaching for many of years or have teaching degrees, and they knew what it was to be a teacher. They knew that expectation of being a teacher. They were very frustrated that I wasn't seeing it. They were frustrated they didn't understand that I didn't come from education, and they were frustrated that I didn't see what these kids needed. Meanwhile, I'm an FFA advisor, and it was eating up a lot of my time. I stayed late constantly, and I came home exhausted and upset and discouraged. It started to affect my home life. I was carrying so much school stress because I was wanting these kids to be a leader to these kids, and I wasn't being the leader I wanted to be, that it caused so much stress. It was causing mental and physical illness, honestly. I remember thinking more than once, I made a huge mistake by leaving the industry. I wasn't just tired, I was drowning. I was trying to learn the curriculum on my own and manage behaviors and keep kids safe and run an FFA program. And somehow I was trying to do that all at once. The only guidance I really felt like I had was make sure they don't die. That's a pretty big task right there in the shop. The pressure plus the environment it was creating, like I said, it created a lot of physical and mental illness at the time. But the turning point came not from a formal evaluation or some big moment. It came from one coworker, and this sticks with me still to this day. Some kids don't need to be taught the book. They just need to be you to be there for them. Not long after that, a student came to me with a situation. They didn't need an instructor. They didn't need a teacher. They needed a friend. They needed somebody that loved them and needed to be in their corner at that moment in time. And at that moment, it all hit me like that. I've been trying to build this strong program without building trust first. And it hit me hard, and it kind of made my stomach twist a little bit. But I knew something had to change. So I changed. Not overnight, and not perfectly, but it was change that was intentional. I started showing up to school different. I started listening more. I learned what was going on in my students' lives, and I still held standards. But I started leading with hardness. I started leading with care. It took me time because I had damage to undo. I hurt them. But slowly things started to shift. Students began to trust me. They worked harder because they felt valued. The culture changed because they could tell someone was in their corner. My biggest takeaway in this, and leadership in education isn't about the toughest person in the room. It's about being present. Rules and expectations matter, but relationship matters so much more. Once my students believed I cared about them, everything else, learning, effort, pride, growth, finally had room to thrive. Thank you guys. Y'all have a wonderful day.